Hello, we are the Isambards, poets of place and people, and today we're at Arnos Vale Cemetery in Bristol, where we've written poems inspired by this wonderful place and are going to conduct a poetry walk. Arnos Vale. Whence came its name? No one knows for sure. An Italian publican, perhaps, washed up on Avon's shore. A tribute to the ancient god of the river Arno, who haunted its sweet waters millennia ago. Some say a simple Saxon named Arno once tilled here. But what I know is when the rain clouds clear, I taste nature and enjoy my solitude amongst the silent sleepers guarded by this wood. For here the good, the humble, the proud and the brave rest in time eternal, the last entry written in their lifetime's journal.
Valley of the Shadow. Here there is no call for weed-free lawns with ordered edges, polished black marble lettered in gilt, faux floral tributes. Trees crowd in, tarmac roads turn into tracks, then muddy tunnels leading down to the dark. It all comes to this, the hungry earth, roots reaching up, snagging headstones, hauling monuments and plinths beneath its surface. In hidden thickets, lonely groves, old gods lift their antlered heads. With halting steps on cloven hooves, they hallow ground.
So this is a poem set in the present day in Arnos Vale, but it harks back. It's a walk in Arnos Vale. The woman with a dog walks off, dropping her paper bag and crumbs. Rooks gather, squabble, peck and fly, leaving one who rises and grows tall, a stalking figure dressed throat to toe in deepest, blackest mourning. When she lived, she made a healthy living, dressing the grieving in bombazine and cream, black armbands and ostrich feathers, jet jewellery and mourning rings.
This place had fallen into disrepair, very much so. It was owned by one person and he just couldn't manage the site, and it was, it was neglected, very, very neglected. But it did mean that the wildlife took over, really took over this site. So you can hear the trees groaning out there. It's quite a weird and eerie noise, isn't it? Groaning, because these are all saplings that have grown up from trees that were planted here. Arnos Vale is a garden cemetery, so it was deliberately planted with specific specimen trees, but some of those specimen trees have shed their seeds and they're spread all over.
Hazardous Garden. The burial stopped when there was no more room, leaving the merchants and their wives asleep in sumptuous tombs on mattresses of bones. A city of corpses layered in earth, founded by cholera, plague, old age, or chance encounters that brought stories to unexpected ends that are down too deep to dig from dirt and read the detail. The dead are listening to the living as they busy about their days, careless of them. It's unclear what they reckon or who they remember, whether they know anything at all, if they take their soundings from the ground in which they're lying, or recall the sun of 600 years, casting shadows in a garden not yet freighted with the dead.
This has something to do with the people who founded Arnos Vale. I see them, soberly dressed, civic-minded, enterprising, some with modern touches, striped waistcoats, gold seals, a few older men obdurate in outmoded knee breeches, and all brought together by that mix of public good with business acumen which already marks the young Queen's reign, Victorian philanthropy. How wise of them to follow Kensal Green and Highgate, Liverpool, Sheffield, Manchester and Birmingham, to stop burying Bristol's dead in the overcrowded churchyards of the teeming, filthy city centre. How sensible to ward off disease, bury the dead with fitting dignity, and eventually make a profit.
Peace. Perfect peace. How many times did a stonemason carve these words into oolitic limestone or marble here in this graveyard of sylvan respite? where the city's hubbub is seldom heard? How many angels have welcomed the sleeping into the arms of a loving God? How many urns with their funeral draping have been carved as some tribute to some worthy within? Today's stonemasons are as rare as black rhinos, whilst years ago there were many. This cemetery had its own, ready with mallet and chisel to chip the waiting ashlar and write out the names that should never be forgotten.
You are the table of the elements, we are the seated and the feast. Made of yourself of grindings, bone and wing dust, crumbs of trees, you undo us, you remake us. Orange red with iron, volcanic black, you are fire and rotted blood. You are bright with lime and mica, stiff with ancient fish, floor of heaven, roof of hell. Thick with silts, grey as smoke, wet with fermenting broths, you are streaked as nests of snakes. You offer water in cups of uncooked clay. Hold out all your hands for us. Hold out all your hands, fill our mouths, though we strip and burn you. Support us even under escalators, car parks, carriageways. Bear our weight, our numbers. Bear our weight until we must become you. Disconnect our joints and junctions. You save our skins and turn them into leather, or strip us to our ribs. But in time, receive us in the pathways of nematodes, the fortresses of ants. Consume us with bacteria, with microscopic animals. Return us here as moss, as grass. Make us the table, then the feast.
Okay, so I just thought I'd mention these two angels because they're two very beautiful angels. I'm sorry standing and staring into the light. One is for an elderly lady, died in her 80th year. The angel's looking quite, not jolly, but she's not looking terribly sad and droopy. Her wings are very impressive. She's got open flowers in her hand, passion flowers. They represent the Passion of Christ, and she's pointing hopefully towards heaven. She's got these beautiful wings. And that is the Bevis family, and I don't know if anybody's ever heard of Bevis lemonade. It was a lemonade in the early 20th century. They were very, very wealthy. This one is a very much sadder looking angel. Her wings are slightly drooping down. She's holding a closed rosebud in her hand. An unmarried woman or a child, and this is actually for a little girl called Nesta, who died at the age of 3 years and 7 months. And it's got a little poem, which I'm not going to read out in the moment, but a little poem on the bottom here talking about the fact that God has taken Nesta back to his garden to be a little rose in his garden. So it's quite sad, but you can see the difference in the angels. You know, one's quite, proud, and one's quite sad and drooping.
We've come around.
By consecrated and by wilder ground.
In what we've heard,
And what we've seen.
Thanks
For coming.
And
thanks, Janine. And if you like the poems, buy this magazine. Thank you, Janine. £3.